Hello everybody, today I'm going to be doing a TV DXing showcase. I'm going to basically be showing two different TVs and features that I like about them when it comes to UHF DXing and just some other features. So yeah. I have two TVs that I'm going to be showcasing today. This one's the 2013 Hisense. It's a 23-inch display. It's LCD, and I believe its max output is 1080i, but I'm not too sure. I also think it's quite fitting that it has a DX engineering sticker on it. The next TV is just my main bedroom TV. It is a 2011, no, sorry, a 2012 35-inch Insignia display. This one's just my bedroom TV. It's a bit bigger, but they're both relatively from the same era of liquid crystal displays. So just going to be seeing which one performs better. This is a controlled test. We have the same coaxial cable, and I don't know if you can see my antenna, it's too dark, but I will have the listing up here. And so it's a controlled test, so everything will be pretty much the same. But yeah, we'll just be seeing which one does better. We're going to be starting off with the Hisense TV just because I have everything plugged into it already. We'll go ahead and go over some features. I'm going to go over some of the DXing friendly features and then some just little qualities that it has that I like. So we'll go ahead and go over those. So just like both these TVs, it has a dedicated section in the menu to configuring your antenna and channels and whatnot. It has a tuner mode, which, I mean, obviously it only has cable and antenna. So obviously it has both of those. It has a simple channel scan, which is pretty standard. It has a channel skip, which I actually really like this one because you can pick individual frequencies instead of just the channels that you receive, which is very common on TVs of this era. So I do like how you can go on to literally every single frequency and choose if you want it skipped or not. This is just default. I'm probably going to unskip these at some point because it's better for DXing, but it is a nice feature to have. There's also different stuff for MTS and your language, which I think is cool. This TV does only have 3 different languages, and I noticed that if it's just a random program, it's not going to switch the language. It has to be one that supports multilingual output of audio. But it is a cool feature to have because more and more digital stations these days have it. In fact, most of the clear channel, high power stations are going to have some sort of multilingual output. So that is pretty nice to have. Another feature that I really like is the customizable captions. You can choose what caption service you want. I just have it on service 1 because I'm kinda deaf sometimes. So I just use captions to help me understand better. You can also choose like the font size, the font style, the color, how transparent it is, all this stuff, which I think is super cool, especially for a TV of this era. It even gives you a little demo of what it's going to look like, which is amazing, especially considering that this was a budget TV back in 2013, 2014. So this is very, very cool. Now let's go over and do a demonstration of the channel scan. A pretty standard feature, just gonna see how much it works. This is what the menu looks like. This one does take a while. It really depends on the TV. I've noticed that this one takes way longer than usual, probably because it has a more sensitive tuner, but it is very cool to have this one. I prefer to use this one for DXing just because it does a bit more of a thorough search. So yeah, I will get back to you when the scan is done. Alright, so the scan is done, and I got around 38 channels, which in the Charlotte metropolitan market is pretty standard. I'm on the local ABC affiliate, WSOC. It's playing the NBA game right now. I don't know why it's lagging. Maybe there's some kind of interference. It shouldn't be lagging considering that it's a high-powered clear channel station, but it's fine. Another thing that I like about this TV is it has a quick access guide, which is really cool. It basically shows you the channel lists of channels you got. You can switch between them. It's really cool. You can just click OK on the remote or whatever you have, and then it'll switch to this. Like this is WCCB's Dabble. You can also just flip down and get more affiliates. It's pretty cool. Here's QVC's Charlotte translator. But yeah, the quick access guide, very useful on this TV. I really like it. Here's something for the kiddos. Some Me-Tunes, which is awesome. Although there's a commercial, which is slightly disappointing, but yeah, it's fun. Another thing that I like, and I'll go ahead and show you guys, I mentioned it earlier, was the setting where you can channel skip. It's pretty standard, but I like this one because you can access certain frequencies. I'll go ahead and test it so I can show you guys what I'm talking about, but we'll do channel 20, which is analog. Analog channels are insanely hard to get, but if you go down to channel 20, there's no current station there, but it will passively scan the frequency, and occasionally, like hopefully right now, it'll say retrieving data, which means it's getting some kind of signal, but it's not enough to decode it and display any kind of information. Which is very useful for DXing because that tells me as a hobbyist that there is some kind of signal there, but currently it's not strong enough above the threshold to decode. So I think that's a really cool feature that this TV doesn't necessarily have. So this is really cool. It has a lot of features. I love the caption specifically. It's very useful to me because I just low-key can't hear sometimes, but I can also see how it can be very useful to hard of hearing people and just people in general that like having captions. I know I do. Hisense, it's a pretty good TV. It's a great budget TV if you want to get into Nintendo DXing. Just pick up a small LCD Hisense display and you'll be good. Alright, so next up is the Insignia television. We're going to go ahead and go into the menu and just check it out. Very similar to the Hisense in a lot of ways, mainly being that it has all the standard stuff. So when you go in channels, you got your auto search, you got your ad skip, your favorites. This has labels, which I think is interesting. You can put certain labels on TVs. You can also have a built-in channel strength meter, which I think is awesome. I feel like it's a little inaccurate at times. Like, this is the local CBS affiliate for Charlotte. It says it's at 50%, however, there's very little stutter at all, and it's coming in super clear. And considering it's a clear channel, high-powered station in my local market, I kind of find even 75% kind of hard to believe. It's more along the lines of 80 to 95, but it is still really useful. It also has an audio-only mode, which is, I don't know how I feel about it. It's whatever. It, I guess, can be useful for some people, but yeah, we'll go ahead and do a channel search, and yeah. It also has an auto zoom feature, which I think is interesting. There's different options for your TV source. This has a satellite option, unlike the Hisense, that's pretty cool. We'll be doing it tonight because this is a UHF DXing showcase. So we'll go ahead and click on that, and it'll scan for channels, and again, it just kind of shows you what is there and what it has for you. So the scan is done, and unlike the Hisense TV, it actually asks you if you want to still scan for analog channels. Considering that I didn't find any, I just clicked no, but it's doing it anyway. I think it's because I've waited too long. But yeah, it does scan channels, which I think is really nice. And yeah, this is the CBS affiliate. It does not have a quick guide, unfortunately, like the Hisense, which I find useful for both consumer and DXing use. But unlike the Hisense, it actually shows you more in-depth information on every station. Like for example, let me try to focus in a little bit. It's hard to focus and it's hard to see. There we go. Yeah, it tells you both the call sign and the pixel ratio. So like for example, most channels are 480i or 480p. This one's 480i. Shop LC is also 480i. So yeah, it does tell you that, which I find to be quite interesting. The captions, it has captions, however, it's just a toggle feature, and it's not as in-depth or customizable as the Hisense, which is fine as long as it has captions. It's cool. Also, the add and skip channels is way less advanced. You can only add and skip channels that you have received, not certain frequencies, which for DXing is kind of disappointing. But for consumer use, this is a great television. It's just your run-of-the-mill. But if you want to DX, I would heavily recommend something along the lines of the Hisense. So this was just a little showcase, and just kind of wanted to show you both these TVs in action and how they work. But yeah, they're both just TVs. I mean, they obviously have some features that are better than the other, but I prefer the Hisense for my DXing endeavors, but they're both pretty good. But yeah, make sure you guys like and subscribe, comment down below, just anything, and yeah, thank you for watching.